frustration turn into elation as you turn your head to self-isolation decoration.
Hello there, Phil here from Paint the Town Green, giving you some advice and tips on decorating jobs you can do around the house while you're stuck at home. So today I wanted to talk to you about painting kitchen units. It's quite a big subject, and since I started doing these videos, a lot of people have got in contact and asked questions about it. So I thought it'd be a good one to do. You'll notice I'm not in my painting gear because a lot of it is just about planning, about understanding what you can and can't do, the way to do it. So I thought I'd talk you through some of those details, and then right at the end, I will show you how to paint a door. So first thing you need to be aware of is you get two types of hinges in kitchens. One of them is the type we've got here, which is sometimes called a butt hinge, it's also called a mortise hinge. This is a hinge that you can see, okay? And if you've got this type of hinge, you don't need to take the doors off to paint it, because you can get to everywhere that you need to get to with the door in place. So I can get to this front face here, I can get to this face here. If I open the door up like that, I can get to in here. Do you want to come in? I can get to this edge here. That edge there is a bit of a struggle, but if I can take the shelves out and get to there from there. So basically, I can potentially paint this entire kitchen without taking the doors off. However, there's another type of hinge you get. Put them in here. So I don't know the technical name. These are Blum hinges, I think, or hidden hinges, or that's the dog. Hidden hinges, or secret hinges, or Blum hinges. Now these are different. You can't see them. Can you film it? So you can't see them. They're hidden inside. Where are they? They're inside the cupboard here. Okay. With these, you can't get to the various edges that you need to get to. I can't get to this bit of the panel here with that hinge in place because of the way look at the door moves when it opens. You can see that in there. So it's very awkward to try and paint that. So you need to take this hinge off. This is very easy to do on the majority of these hinges. They are little click-off hinges. So what you do, come in here, you put your finger in here behind, and you'll feel a little lever. You pull it forward, and the hinge comes off. Same at the top, and that's it. That's the door off, okay? So if you've got these type of hinges in your kitchen, you can do that, take them off, and then if you look back here, lovely and easy to get to that edge for painting it. So if you do that, you take all the doors off and you paint them off. You need somewhere to lean them against, a wall to lean them against, what have you, and do, for goodness sake, label them when you take them off. Otherwise, you're going to have an absolute nightmare. When you put them back on, you've got a little line there which lines up with these teeth here. Okay, they slot in 1, 2, and you just click them on. I'll try and do it now. It can be a little bit time consuming to do because you've got to line it up just right. And they just bang them with the hand and they go on like that. So that's taken off and putting them back on again, quite straightforward. Right, if we come back in here, you get many different types of surfaces in your kitchen. There'll be many reasons why you want to redo it. You might just not like the colour that it's painted. It might be absolutely knackered and battered and you want to redo it. Or you might want to completely change the style, okay? If your kitchen has been painted with a water-based eggshell previously and you know that it's a water-based eggshell and you just want to redo it, then all you need to do is give it a good rub down with some 120 sandpaper. We've covered sandpaper in another video, and then you should be good to go. If you're not sure what product your kitchen's been painted with previously and you think it might be an oil-based, I've touched on this before, but you never want to be putting a water-based paint directly on top of an oil-based paint because they repel each other. Just like when you drop olive oil into a pan of water, it doesn't disperse, it stays in one place. Paint's exactly the same. So if you're in any doubt, once you've given the thing a light rub down, best thing to do, get a primer like this, or like this, and these are basically primers that are a great first coat and they make that transition from oil-based to water-based. They counter that compatibility issue. So that's a real goodie. That's another one we use a lot. We sell that at our showroom. If you've got something like a deep varnish, which you quite often get in sort of older kitchens, even when you give it a rub down, you're still going to see bits of the varnish there, and it's really hard work to get the whole lot off. And what can happen if you've got a deep varnish or some sort of wood treatment, you're putting on water-based eggshell, even using this primer, that colour can bleed through after a few months and start to discolour your paint. So what we sometimes use is quite a heavy-duty primer, which is this one here. They also do an oil-based one, but this is the king of basically stain blocking. Now it's shellac based, it absolutely stinks. It's got a very high VOC level, so make sure you use it in a well ventilated area, and ideally if you've got some sort of respiratory mask, that would be a good thing to use. But it is very, very good at sealing in whatever has gone onto that wood beforehand, and then giving you a really nice base to then paint onto. It's pretty ferocious stuff, but it's a very, very effective primer. It's also something we use as a stain block if anyone's had any water leaks or whatever. Okay, so that's the basics of how to get the thing set up. And the primers to use. Now, there's several different edges that you need to get, and it's a good guide to see what's been painted previously. Very unusual for you to need to paint inside the cupboards. So normally, if you take this kitchen here, normally it's going to be just this edge here. So you'll paint it up to this edge here. Yeah. So you know where you're going to in every single one, and basically once you've worked it out for one door, or one cupboard, it's exactly the same for all of them. So you just get into a rhythm going round and round and round. Likewise, drawers, the whole of this kitchen, if I was going to repaint it, I could do it in situ because it's got these types of hinges, whereas the hinges we've got in there, we need to pop the doors off. So that's the basic principle of it. I'm going to now show you, obviously it'll be edited because I'll be wearing different clothes, but I'm going to show you how to paint a door, and then you can just repeat that process for the whole kitchen. Okay, so we've done the theory, now I've changed into my painting clothes and I'm going to demonstrate. Now I've realised I don't actually have the colour for these units. Keen as I am to make these videos as interesting as possible, I'm not going to paint my kitchen the wrong colour to show you. What I do have the colour for is these cupboards over here. So I'm going to demonstrate painting technique, or how to paint cupboard doors on these ones, and just paint this one here. So I've given this a light rub down on the front, some 120 sandpaper, get rid of any little lumps and bumps in it, and also give me a bit of grip, a bit of, we call it a key with painting. If we were doing this for real, I would paint probably the back and the sides first, getting these edges in the back, wiping down any overlap that comes, any build-up that comes round, so it's all nice and flat at the front, and then I would paint the front at the end. Now whether you do it, you take them off to paint it, or you leave them on, depends on the hinges, we already talked about that. But let me show you the painting technique. This is the most common style of door that most people have in their kitchens. It's called a shaker style. You've got these raised edges and then these sort of slightly set back panels. The way I would always approach this, I paint the panels first, this one and this one down here, and then I do the edges afterwards, okay? And we need to be mindful all the time keeping a wet edge. So what I'm going to do, I have a cloth with me here. Cloth. And if I do get any paint on this edge here as I'm doing the panels, I'm just going to wipe it off to keep it nice and smooth so I don't get any build-up starting to dry that'll then drag when I come down and paint these bits. When you're doing the flat panels, pay particular attention to the little raised bits here, okay? Because those are the classic area that gets missed and then it just looks a little bit unfinished at the end. So we want to make sure we get those when we do the panels, then we do these bits, we can just worry about the front faces. So here we go. Okay, so I'm concentrating on the edges first. I should mention, when I was sanding the door, I took the handle off. Obviously, you want to get all your handles off before you start trying to paint, otherwise you go around them. They just unscrew from the back. So I'm doing my edges. And now I do the main panel area. Okay, so that's my first panel. I may be happy with how it's looking, or I may think, oh, it's a bit lumpy, there's a bit of build-up. So a bit of build-up's a technique we use when we're doing the shelves. You can just flutter across it quickly, and then come down with nice, smooth, long brush strokes, not pressing too hard. It just helps even out the paint. Some people like to do that, some people don't, but I'll give you the option there. So that's my first panel done. Now I'll take my cloth. There's a little bit here where I've gone over a tiny bit, can you see that? I'm just going to wipe that off now. Okay, so that doesn't start drying and then we drag it when we come back. So we know that we've just done the panel, but we haven't done the edges. Let's do the bottom panel. Okay, so that's the two flat panels done. I've done the whole of that panel, done the whole of that panel. There's no paint on the edges. So now I'm going to go and do the edges. Now the way that I prefer to do it, everyone prefers their own technique, but I prefer to do the top panel there, that bit there, then come down the sides, and then just fill in the bottom at the end. It's my way of keeping a wet edge, keeping a really clear mental picture of where I've done and where I haven't done, and not overlapping too much. So we do the top bit first. That's how you paint a cupboard door. So happy painting.